And my concern this morning, I wanted to bring to you as not as a new resident, but as a returning resident. I was born and raised in Navarro County, but I got married and moved away for 40+ years. And now I'm back and I'm living with my 93 and 91-year-old parents. And there are certain things that from my perspective, I need to be aware of and be prepared for. And one of them is 911 service. We had an incident last week. I had this on my list, and we had an incident in the community last week that said, okay, you need to get it off your list and see if you can get it fixed. A neighbor had called 911 and called an ambulance, and she had a baby and asked me to come down and watch her baby while she wasn't feeling well. So I saw the ambulance go down the road and then I went to the door and turned around and kind of waved them down, and then they came back. Because we're out there and GPS doesn't always get you where you need to go. And they were using GPS. And when you use GPS, which is another problem I'm going to try to address, GPS often says our address is Frost. Well, we're in Pelham. We don't have a post office. Our mail comes from Hubbard, which is in Hill County. Frost is not the closest place to us, even though when you Google it, it says Frost. So I've got to get that corrected too. Malone is actually closer in Hill County. But anyway, so they went by, I went out in the road and waved them down and they came. And so I said all that to say this, is I was saying if maybe there's some way we could address the issue of getting the 911 numbers, our house numbers on the mailbox. So that when, 911 comes by, they don't keep going trying to figure out where we are. So I think if we could get the reflective number on the mailbox, it would be helpful. So that's my request and my hoping that you would put it for consideration to see, especially in the rural area where, if we don't have the only thing we have to mark the residence is the mailbox, because a lot of people don't have on their actual building or house the house number or anything. It's just a mailbox that tells you where you are. So like I said, with 911 concerns, if something should happen, if we have to call somebody, we need to get them there as fast as we can, even though I know 35 minutes out from Corsicana, sometimes we do have to call 911 to come out to us. So are there questions or statements? I'm not sure how your form works.
Well, normally we don't really say anything, just listen to, what you have to say and then see what we can do about it. But in this particular instance, though, I will agree with you. That's problematic. A number of years ago, and I can't remember exactly how many, well, City of Corsicana came out with an edict or whatever you want to call it, directive, I guess would be a way to put it. That is, put house numbers on that had to be a certain, like 4 inches tall or something like that, whatever it was, I can't remember. But, or they were going to either stop trash delivery to your house, cut your water off. I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember if that's exactly what it was or not, but they had something that they were not going to, something to try to force you to do it if you didn't do it. It might have been a citation or something like that, but
it is code
or just some notion, or notice of what to do, or, I don't know. But yeah, I think it'd be a good idea because I've been out, at other times in the country looking for someone and no name or anything on the mailbox. You wonder, how do you get your mail? You don't have your address on it. So I'll check into it and see what we can find out.
Miss Hicks called me a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, and was telling me, my understanding was that down the road from you in Hill County, that Hill County provides the numbers that go on the post of the mailbox.
That's right.
And that's what prompted her to call me. And I said, please come tell us what this is all about and why. So
they said they passed an ordinance, and I called and talked to them, and they said that through their county government, that they passed an ordinance that each new address, now I don't know about the old addresses, but the new address is part of obtaining a new address in Hill County. You have to have you pay a fee, and it has to be on your mailbox when they install the mailbox. So it's there on the mailbox for everybody to see.
Well, there again, I don't know that we have any directive we can do, period. I mean, but I would think the certainly the ambulance service would, and plus we've got some new folks that are, driving now, from out of county. And I know that's been a hindrance to a degree, at times, when they couldn't find or locate someone, because they just weren't familiar with our county. But I still say that I agree with you on the box. That address needs to be on the mailbox. Yes, Stanley.
My last week was just like 911 addressing is in my department.
Right.
That is for emergency personnel only. It is a requirement, part of the application, that they have to be shown that they are required by law to establish that address on either their post or their mailbox or their home. Now, following up with that, that's like I say, it's a code violation or a statute violation, as Commissioner Moore stated. If you find one that's not like that, if you ask us to, we can look at it and require by letter, notice of violation, something like that, that they have to put it on their mailbox.
I think most people have their number on the mailbox, but we have no street lights. So at night, when you're going down the road trying to find something, you can't see them.
As part of that packet, it's supposed to be reflected.
It's supposed to be reflective. Okay, well then I think a lot of people then are not inclined with that.
And the GPS, the UPS, FedEx and people like that, our addressing system is only for emergency personnel only. It's not for GPS or anything like
yes,
that.
I understand.
So where they get that information, we have no idea. They'll be 4 or 5 houses on. But like I say, issues with that, we're kind of complaint driven. If it's an address that's not posted like that, if it's like they have a complaint made, we can address that issue for you. But like I say, that it is a requirement. It is a state statute that they have to post it.
Well, that's good to know. We have that.
Well, Ms. Hicks, you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting if you like, but if you're, inclined to go somewhere else, you can leave. We're not going to make you stay. I'll put it that way. All right.
Thank you. Well, I can comment that Richland Volunteer Fire Department had a fundraiser a couple of years ago. And it's like a $20 donation, and they made me a green sign with my numbers on it.
I got 2 of them.
And it attaches to the pole, so it's up and down. But it was just through donations, and everybody who made the donation, they give you one, and it's just plumber's tape, and you just bolt it to your pole. And so that may be a thought for a fundraiser for the local fire departments or something to do, because I knew they put it on mine. So
good idea. Okie dokie. Ms. Hicks was the only one who signed up. So we are done with those, and we'll move on now to our consent agenda, items 5, 6, and 7. These are ones that we can talk about if we'd like. If not, there's no need to do that. I'd ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda as a whole.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as a whole. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Moore, seconded by Commissioner Brewer. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We move on to our regular agenda. Item number 8 is consideration of burn ban. Right now, our burn ban is still off. And I got some stuff I need to burn. I worked this past weekend hauling it down to that pit to do it. So I've got brush pile. Yeah, big pile of brush. Mine's in the ground, so
I've got some that's too muddy to get to.
Yeah. But as far as y'all are concerned, no action on this. Is that correct? No, leave it alone. Number 9 is consideration of approving a proclamation to declare the month of April as Child Abuse Prevention Month. I'm going to read this proclamation. Y'all bear with me. There is a consensus across the country that it is necessary to build strong prevention systems as part of a robust family well-being system that not only supports families when they are in a crisis, but is intentional in supporting families before they are in a crisis. The universal challenges faced over the past 3 years have compounded the struggles children and families in our communities were already facing and heightened the urgency for us to consider what a robust family well-being system in Corsicana, Navarro County could and should look like. In Corsicana and Navarro County, we believe that children thrive in safe, stable, nurturing families within their own communities. Through establishing partnerships with families that capitalize on the collective strengths of parents and their children, we can build strong, healthy families and resilient communities where children can thrive. Sadly, child maltreatment is still a significant public health issue. Communities that lack accessible supports and resources and are disproportionately affected by poverty can experience increased risk factors that lead to child abuse and neglect. Despite the complex factors that can lead to child maltreatment, it can be prevented. Each year, the month of April is dedicated to recognizing the critical work being done across our great state to meet families upstream before a crisis occurs and offer them accessible lifelines that mitigate the challenges they face. Child abuse prevention occurs every day through the diligent work and tireless advocacy undertaken by Corsicana and Navarro County families, friends, neighbors, houses of faith, advocacy groups, nonprofit organizations, schools, healthcare providers, social workers, and government agencies to support children and families in every community. Child abuse prevention cannot be tasked to one community, agency, or system. Behind many families that succeeded on their own is a strong community that provided a way for the family to meet their needs. We must all work together to strengthen our communities and build localized supports that are accessible, contribute to the well-being of the entire community, and keep children and families safe and together. I encourage everyone to learn more about the many aspects of our communities working hard to create positive, healthy environments for the future leaders of our great state and nation. Together, we can create a brighter future for children, families, and communities in Corsicana, Navarro County, and ensure tomorrow's leaders have the support they need to thrive and reach their potential. Therefore, I, H.M. Davenport, Navarro County Judge, do hereby proclaim April 2023 to be Child Abuse Prevention Month in Corsicana, Navarro County, and urge the appropriate recognition whereof. So I'm going to sign this at this point in time.
You need a motion for this?
Why don't we do that?
I'll make a motion that we proclaim the month of April as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Navarro County. Second, saw this firsthand 27 years as an elementary principal in this county. I saw it every year get worse and worse.
Yeah.
And with COVID and all that, it only made that even worse. So.
If you guys need anything you want to say regarding that, I'll give that opportunity.
I think David said it.
Good. All right. Motion been made by Commissioner Brewer, seconded by Commissioner Moore. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We move on to item number 10. Consideration of approving tax collection report for February of 2023. Mr. Mike Dowd in the back of the room.
Morning, y'all.
Morning, y'all.
All right. So far this year, we have collected $25,386,720.14, which is a little ahead dollar-wise from last year this time, and $24,660,868.09. As far as percentage goes, we've collected 90.43%. Last year at this time, we had collected 91.79%. We're a little behind, 1.36% behind on collections, but dollars ahead to the tune of $725,852.05 for the year to date.
Questions, discussion, gentlemen? Not, I'd ask for a motion, please.
I'll make a motion that we approve the tax collection report from Mike Dow from February 2023.
Second. Motion made by Commissioner Grant, seconded by Commissioner Perry. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 11, consideration of approving planning and zoning commissioners election of the planning and zoning chairman, Terry Jacobson. Stanley?
And Terry Jacobson is appointed by the commission board. I think it was actually appointed by the judge. The commission voted that he would remain chairman for the, I believe it's a 2-year period. Every odd year we have to make the election. And they're asking the commission for recognition that the board is going for his election.
Okey dokey.
And I make a motion to approving planning and zoning commissioners election of the planning and zoning chairman Terry Jacobson.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Perry, seconded by Commissioner Moore. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 12 is consideration of approving planning and zoning commissioners election of the planning and zoning vice chairman, Stuart Schoffer.
Yes, sir. It's the same situation. He's appointed by precinct 2, and they're asking for the approval and consideration for the commission board for their election of Stewart as vice chairman.
Okay. Any discussion? If not, I'd ask for a motion, please.
Make a motion that we approve the planning and zoning commissioners election of planning and zoning vice chairman, Stuart Schoffer.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Brewer, seconded by Commissioner Perry. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 13 is consideration of approving a zoning district change from agriculture to SF-1 with lot width and depth variance on a 68.966 acre tract, parcel 42418 for Triangle Shores LLC.
Yes, and it was on the B&Z Commission, their agenda from March 2nd. They addressed it, looked at it. They did approve the zoning change with actually 7 members voting for, 2 against. And by majority, they did pass it. They're asking this morning that the commission board also consider and look at it, you know, for their approval.
Okay. Is there anybody here from that? You guys are? Okay. Where's that located exactly? Can you?
2160, just east of or west of Crab Creek. It's in Commissioner Moore's precinct. So
it's
gotcha.
East of Navarro, and you take 2140 all the way down to the end and turn right at the boat ramp, and it's the end of 2160.
Okay. Okay, cool.
And the lot width and depth variance is reported within that plat, and they did look at it and approve that the B&Z Commission.
Okay. Any discussion on this, gentleman? If not, I'd ask for a motion, please.
I move that we approve a zoning district change from agricultural to FS-1 with lot width and depth variance on a 68.966 acre tract, parcel 242418 for Triangle Shores LLC.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Moore, seconded by Commissioner Grant. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 14 is consideration of approving a final plat of Triangle Shores for Triangle Shores LLC.
Yes, sir. And like I said, this was on the agenda for the March 2nd. B&Z did look at it and approve that plat. It does meet the state and local regulations for subdivisions, and Tarrant Regional Water District has already signed off on it for their septic system regulations there, and they're asking for permission for it.
Okay. Any discussion, comments, gentlemen? If not, I'd ask for a motion, please.
I have to preface this with the lake area is growing, and with real estate terms, it's called critical mass. Okay, and it's you don't have to like it, but they meet all they have property owners that are against it for various different reasons, and We all want it to grow. Nobody just wants it to change. I mean, again, it doesn't work like that. And so it's the way it is. And I hate using that term, but I think the lake is a diamond in the rough that is going to develop sooner or later. And these gentlemen they've got work all around the lake that shows their handiwork, that they are professionals and not a fly-by-night company. So having said that, I move that we approve a final plat for Triangle Shores LLC.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Moore, seconded by Commissioner Brewer. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right.
Thank y'all. Appreciate that.
Gentlemen, thank you
Appreciate
for coming.
your words too. Much appreciated.
It's true.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good day.
All right, y'all too. Okay, number 15 is consideration of approving a final plat of Tupelo acres for Norman and Addison Lake. Stanley?
This, and it's a 30 acre, looks like a 30 acre tract. They want to propose 12 acres. I'm sorry, 12 lots within that subdivision. They have met all the state and local regulations for the Greenland subdivision. And they're asking, and it does meet the septic system regulations for the county. They're asking approval of their subdivision.
I don't have a copy of that.
I don't even.
It should have been.
We got 16 and 17, no 15.
I've got 16 and 17.
I don't either. Apparently it didn't get submitted.
Where is it? Where's it at?
It's
It's near one below.
northeast 1040 area.
You're fighting table because I hadn't even looked at it.
Okay, I'm not sure what happened.
You want to make the motion to take?
I'll make a motion that we table item 15.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Grant, seconded by Commissioner Perry to table. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And we table in that item. All right, we'll move on then to number 16, which is consideration of approving the final plat of the village at Pine Tree Valley for Estela Hernandez. Stanley?
This is one of the last commission hearing.
Uh-huh.
I think reasons of not having the restrictions. Ms. Hernandez is here today to represent the development of that subdivision.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
And I'm here if you have any questions.
Well, my question was, most of the ones done lately, the subdivisions have deed restrictions. Because I can take you to different parts of the county where it looks like a third world country when they didn't have deed restrictions, just basic thou shalt nots, you know, and this does not have any deed restrictions on it. And we're trying to keep things on the up and up for the county so that it does not, like I said, reflect a third world country in some of these areas.
What we're doing here, it's we're subdividing, but it's basically for my family. It is a private property. We do have a gate. No one from the public can come in or out unless they have a key. We do have several properties the same way. And there's another property adjacent to ours. I'm not sure if you know Mr. Brad Butler.
Mm-hmm.
He sold about, and him and his family, about 90 acres. He sold those acres to our family as well, and there were no restrictions. When we bought this property, we didn't have restrictions, and that's the reason why we bought it. What we're trying to do here is, yes, raise cattle or just let the property be. It's not gonna be for business or anything like that, but we're not gonna sell it to the public. It's basically for his family members. And there's about between our properties and the other property that Mr. Butler sold, there are about 190 acres. No one is planning to go over there and live in there right now. It's just for cattle or livestock. And that's it. I don't know what else to tell you. I know we're gonna keep that property clean if that's what you're worried about. I don't think there's a need for us to put restrictions for our kids. I know that we can keep the property clean. If you drive by there, you can actually look at it. We have done a lot of cleaning. There's these pine trees, all trimmed up. We usually mow the grass. We have a tractor. We're not gonna use that as a junkyard or anything like that.
Okay.
I don't know what else.
Mr. Butler sold it off in 10.1 acre tracts, which does not require a subdivision application. It's just a simple real estate transaction. Therefore, he can do that. But when you break it down below 10 acres, that's where it comes in here by law. And so I was just trying to protect the property owners from around that area also, in the same breath, that after 5 or 6 years or 10 years, they go, what in the wide world of sports has happened to this area? You know, without some type of control through the property, because the property, the developer would be responsible for the deed restrictions. And so that's what we try to do, is we try to keep things clean and have some sort of deed restrictions. And I know that what you're telling me is your idea, but things change down through the years as people sell off, and like I say, the next thing you know, they're keeping goats in with pallets and sheet metal, you know, with a 20-year-old mobile home out there that should have been torn down. And then the neighbors at that point look to us, and why did we allow this to happen? And so that's our thoughts, because we cover all over the county these things, and we've seen it happen. And that's just, I know what you tell me, but I also understand that things change through the years and they mutate into what happens without any type of restrictions on it. So that was our thought in the last session when we tabled this, because you weren't here to speak.
No.
And like I said, the last thing I want to do is get a call from the neighbors down there that's lived there for 50 years going, you know, how did this happen to our neighborhood? So,
and I can see your point. That's the reason why we bought the property, because that area looks very nice and pretty, but we also want to keep it that way. I don't see that my kids or my grandkids will turn that property into something that is not nice and pretty for the community.
You know, if you preached it to them long enough, they probably would keep it looking nice, but you're not going to always be there. Just like none of us are always going to be here. And, you know, grandkids usually have a way of doing things that might not have met our specs, as you well know. So anyway, that's where we're coming from about it. It's just, we don't want it to be turned into something trashy, you know.
I mean, it don't have to be Admiral Shores. You know, it does not, we're only 5,000 foot houses are required shop, but you know, there needs to be a handle on it for future generations, because right now is the pivotal point that these things need to be added, or we accept them as they are and suffer the consequences down the road. So Stanley, you get the gist of this conversation, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can recommend them, but it's up to the developer actually.
Okay.
I hear something.
That was my watch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got that battery.
Beeping at me.
So this is 11 tracks or 12 tracks?
11.
And are they divided up like this? Could you plan on putting a house on each track?
No. No, there's no one. I mean, we just want them for livestock or just to leave it the way it is. It's a beautiful place. My kids or grandkids are not planning on moving. Not at this time.
And the only way to get to it would be on the farm to market road. There's no county road access to it.
No.
She is creating a private drive within that. On the side that has a private road statement. No, friends not going to be open in lot of length. So, and as you mentioned,
Except for emergency.
it is a part. It's a private drive. It has the gated area, and I have nothing. In other words, advised for push away gate or some access to emergency.
I like to tell this about the lake over at Cedar Creek back in the 60s. My dad and I were doing construction work and excavation, building roads and this, that, and the other. And over at Cedar Creek, I can recall a house that was really nice, beautiful, probably today's value would be closer to $1 million than what it was in 1965. And right next to it on that property was a school bus with people living in it. They don't allow that down here on this lake. Okay. And so that trickle out away from that, I don't know if they're not with it. Are they within a mile of the shoreline?
No, it's back up
so
on the ridge.
it's
back toward work.
Gotcha.
Right before you leave.
But anyway, that's what we're trying to keep them happening. Is, you know, if anybody's got a school bus and you want to go park it down there somewhere, please don't. But anyway, that's what we're looking at, and so that's fine. All right, gentlemen, we need a motion on this one way or the other.
Does anybody have any objections to this on that end of the table?
I know. I
mean, I would prefer to see something,
I would too.
but you can't make them.
Yeah, because I've seen them pull in RVs that should have been jumped. And then, like I said, they start pinning goats with pallets and sheets of tin, and then the cars on blocks pop up. But if she promises to keep this as an up and up development,
I will. We have other properties and they all look the same, where they're clean. You're not going to see junk cars or old mobile homes or anything like that. You're not going to see that.
No school buses.
No school buses, no tents or things like that.
yeah, normal deed restrictions are no mobile homes older than 10 years old, you know, no junk, no, you know, that just basic housekeeping in the deed restrictions. So it's not, like I said, it's not something like a lake subdivision, but it's just something to keep, because I know we all have good intentions.
I feel like if we were going to sell out to the public, we would definitely have restrictions. But this is for our family. It's not for the public.
Yeah, there's 12 lots there, and that's a lot of family. So, but that's just my 2 cents. But if I don't have any objections on the board, besides, really like to see something like that put into action. And right now, before we pass it, it's time to do it. Because once it leaves this court, it's wide open throttle.
I think I'm gonna pass, just because it's family property. If we were to buy something to sell, for the public, we would definitely do that. I do live in a HOA community in Mansfield, and they do have restrictions, and I really like those restrictions. Because you can keep everybody, you can keep the neighborhood clean. People are not gonna come in with trailers or just anything that doesn't look nice. I do agree with the HOA regulations, but in this, here, it is my family.
Okay.
So I can control my family, and I know my kids are not gonna go over there and make a mess out of that place. It is a beautiful place.
I got one quick question. I know it's not in my precinct, but still, if you don't have any problems and you're gonna keep it nice and your family's gonna keep it nice, and you why not go and put any restrictions on it? If you're gonna do it anyway.
I trust my family. I trust that they're gonna do good. And
You trust them enough to do the restriction?
well, because I have seen them work. They're helping us. They have been cleaning with us. It's not just my husband and I, it's my kids. I think that we have been doing a good job over there. You can actually call Mr. Butler. It doesn't live too far from them. So he can tell you more or less what, if we are gonna do good or not.
I'll just make this comment. I trust you. I trust you saying this, but if we don't put any type of restrictions on it right now, what if you or your family down the line sells that property and there's no deed restrictions on it? Somebody that comes in and purchases it can do whatever they want to. They can put a junkyard there or whatever.
Yes, I can see that.
And your family member, they build a big, nice house. And then something happens. And the person next to it sells it. And then it's like the judge says over at Cedar Creek, there's a school bus comes in next to it. You understand, this is protecting everybody in the subdivision from each other also.
As well as you and your property.
Yes, I can see that. I really don't know, other property owners that I have talked to have not had any restriction. Is my property the very first one that it's gonna have restrictions? There's another property that we were gonna buy, someone else bought it. They subdivided into many tracts. They don't have restrictions, and they're still selling the lot. So that's why, and they're about maybe what 5-10 minutes from our property. And this one is for my family. Now
All 12 lots.
What was that?
All 12 lots is for your family.
And we also have another property next to it, and then my other family has like 10 properties there. The one that Mr. Butler sold,
I understand.
the one I'm talking about, it's about 10 minutes from there. They're selling it to the public. They don't have no restrictions. And that's why I say this one has a gate. Nobody can come in and out unless they have a key. You can see from the outside in that everything's clean. We try to keep the property mowed. You're not going to see anything like that. I would hate to put any kind of restriction that says keep the property clean, because they're keeping it clean. Now, everything in that area, you just see cattle.
I know where it is.
In that area, or you see solar panels. many lots with solar panels. So it's not like you have houses. It's not a residential place. It's not in the city. It's out in the country.
Mhm. Yeah, I know exactly where it is.
And
But like I said, we're trying to protect the
yes,
property
yes.
owners from each other, because like I said, things happen.
But
And all of the best intentions,
Mhm.
and we call it the best laid plans of mice and men.
Yes.
And things don't always work out, and one family member gets mad and sells,
Yes, I think
and
so.
then there's new people come in, and all of a sudden the whole thing changes. And so what we're recommending you to do is to protect yourself from the future, 20 years from now,
And
because you and I will be gone. And this thing will still be out there. And if it turns into a basket of rotten eggs, right now is the time to stop it.
I think
Wouldn't you
that,
agree?
that if we wanted to sell, we can put the restrictions in the contract. We can say, okay, there's, we don't want you to do this, and this. We can also do that if I didn't trust somebody that I was gonna sell to. There can be restrictions in each one of the contracts if we wanted to do that. It's not. That's another option. If we didn't set it in court, we can do it individually in each contract.
Well, I disagree still, because we've watched many of these things come through. And like I said, I can take you to parts of my precinct, and I think Jason could take you through parts of his precinct where these things happened, and they change over time. And your intentions are good, but things change. And without deed restrictions.
So what would you suggest that a restriction could be added? What kind of restriction would you like to see?
Well, we mentioned some of them. And there's some out there where the grass being cut, that's really a moot point if you're going to be grazing it with animals. But number one, I've seen them where site-built only houses so that no mobile homes can be brought in. No junk cars, fences to be made out of certain materials. And Stanley has a plethora of examples of deed restrictions that you can copy and paste.
Yes, he gave me a.
But I don't know, I don't understand why you're resisting the deed restrictions.
Well, yes,
when it's very simple.
It's family. We do have a fence, we have a gate.
I understand what you're saying, but 20 years from now,
yes.
you're dealing in the right now, we're dealing with 20 years from now. And so that's kind of what we're looking to is as these things get sold out of your family, which they will get sold out of your family, and new people come in, and all of a sudden things start happening to your family that you didn't intend to happen. And what we're asking you to do right now is protecting you and your family from these things that happen from your family members that you love from a distance now, that were really close to you. I mean, then from now, because something happened and there was a falling out, and they sell their property to somebody, and sometimes to spite you. I'm telling you, I've seen all kinds of stuff, not just here, but in my life happen. And that's what we're trying to get you to do, is to protect yourself from these happenings for years to come. And it's real easy to do. And you just attach some simple deed restrictions to this property that even the people who buy it from your family members, in the event of, they have to abide by them also. So that's all.
Thank you.
If you understand,
I understand.
we're not selfish up here. We're trying to help you protect yourself and your family members from things that happen down the road that are they're unprepared for at this point, but they will happen. With this many lots, it will happen. So please consider it.
We will. I just don't know, as far as like my kids having an RV or a mobile home or building a house. Not everybody's got the money to build a home. So at this point, we just have the land for livestock, that's it. Sometimes we go and stay the weekend, we leave, we have other properties, but we're not planning to live in there, not at this time. So I'm not sure. I could talk to my husband and see what he thinks, and if he agrees, then maybe we can come up with some restrictions. If he disagrees, then we just, I know we don't have to have restrictions.
Well, that's why we're highly recommending, because we have seen things that you haven't seen. And Stanley has, like I say, a lot of different deed restrictions that you can pick and choose that will protect you and your family members from future transactions that will totally make you regret doing this. Okay.
Definitely waiting.
So,
motion to take.
I will give you another chance to install some sort of deed restrictions, like I say, to protect not only the people that live there already, but the new people that's going to live there for future generations, so it doesn't turn into an undesirable place to live. Okay, and depreciate the property values. So I move to table it one more time and let Mrs. Hernandez get some deed restrictions together.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Commissioner Moore, seconded by Commissioner Brewer. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 17 is consideration of approving a final plat of KB Acres for K. Oh, I don't know that I can say it last name. Can you stand? Banunji.
This is a proposed subdivision. They do have all the required subdivision requirements. They do meet all the state and local central system regulations. They fall within the Navarro County regulations. They're asking for permission for approval this morning for 5 tracts out of the 10-acre tract. And this would also, I believe it's in precinct 1. And it also would have big.
Are they here as well?
Okay.
You overheard our conversation just now, so.
Yeah.
Without going through all that again, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna table it until he has a list of deed restrictions. He can, and he also has a list of the ones we prefer. You can go over there and look and see if those are things you don't have any problem with, and we can meet again this next go around.
Yeah, I'm here on behalf of her. She's out of the country right now, so I'll give her like information.
Okay. Just make sure you get those from Stanley in his office, so we'll have something to show us.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I appreciate it.
Did our comments make sense to you also?
Yes, sir, they did.
Okay.
Basically just keeping the lots clean.
and protecting the property owners for future generations from each other. Because you'll get one rotten egg in there and it's going to spoil the whole thing. Sorry, Jason.
Are you making the motion?
Yes, I'll make the motion that we table number 17.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Grant, seconded by Commissioner Perry. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Stan.
Stanley.
Stanley,
no.
can you show, just run me a copy of that, number 15 and all?
I'll make sure you guys on election.
Number 18 is consideration
Hang
of
on.
approving net motion subscription-based license agreement for mobile IQ in the Navarro County Sheriff's Office.
Hang on, hang on.
Okay, hang on one second.
sorry.
We got a comment.
I'm here for number 15, and I was just wondering, what do I need to put for real?
Well,
It's just, for some reason, it didn't reach them.
Okay.
Yes, we don't have.
We don't have a copy of. We don't have.
y'all have deed restrictions?
Yes.
Okay,
It'll be on the commissioners.
I just hadn't been able to look at it. I haven't seen.
Somehow it makes it better. It's on their agenda, but somehow they missed.
So I don't need to get anything.
No, they have everything they need.
Yeah, we missed.
This is normally what we get. Where we can see everything and see where it is and all the descriptions of it.
Somehow it didn't get included.
Yeah,
It's on 1040 and 10.
Okay.
We apologize for y'all coming.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and like.
Okay. Number 18 is consideration of approving net motion subscription-based license agreement for mobile IQ in the Navarro County Sheriff's Office. Anybody can explain that to me?
You got a plan on getting up like I do.
This is the net motion software. It's a software that runs in all the cars, allows the cars to connect back to the building to get the information that they need to do their job. So this is just it's going from a perpetual license to subscription license that we have to renew every year. So just making you aware of it. It started out, it was going to be needing your approval. But it was on the agenda at that time. So I'm just making you aware that that's what we're doing.
Okay.
This is for the new cameras and.
This is not for the new cameras. This is separate of the new cameras. This is something that we have today, and we also have to renew it in order to stay current. So the officers can do their job.
Okay. So what?
This is just a formality for HM to
Yeah,
sign the
yeah.
contract.
For us to approve it. All right.
I'll make a motion, we approve net motion subscription-based license agreement for the mobile IQ in the Navarro County Sheriff's Office.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Brewer, seconded by Commissioner Moore. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 19 is consideration of approving auditor's office to go out for bids for precinct 3 to resurface Southeast County Road 2350.
This is a project I've been working on for a while. This is one of, if not the most traveled road in the county. There's probably 300 homes down this road, and it's one way in, one way out.
Wow.
And it's the first of a series and it's right now it's an asphalt road. But from my experience with Texas heat and Texas weather, they don't stay together very long. And this will seal the road and keep it together for 8 to 10 years. And it will reduce maintenance on this road. And like I say, next year, as I can afford to, I'll do another one and another one and another one to keep the maintenance up on these roads so that we don't have to go down them every 90 days, pothole patching and fixing them. So having said that, I move that we approve for the auditor's office to go out for bids for precinct 3 to resurface Southeast County Road 2350. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Moore, seconded by Commissioner Grant. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 20 is consideration of approving the First Amendment to 2023 memorandum of the agreement for professional services of Texoma Hada and Steve Toth, DBA, Spartan Tactical Consulting LLC. Terry?
Yes, y'all have already signed his contract, it looks like on December 12th of 22. All we're doing is that they're amending it by adding a car allowance of $500.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right, need a motion, gentlemen.
I make a motion that we approve First Amendment to 2023 memorandum of the agreement for professional services of Texoma Hyde and Steve Todd, DBA Spartan Tactical Consulting LLC.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Grant, seconded by Commissioner Perry. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 21 is consideration of approving application for Texoma HIDA for federal assistance SF-424 for 2023.
Yes, this is to the application for 2023 contract with Texoma Hyde and federal government. It's the application.
Need a motion, gentlemen.
I'll make a motion to approve the application for Texoma HIDA for federal assistance SF-424 for 2023.
Second.
Are you, Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Motion made by Commissioner Perry, seconded by Commissioner Moore. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 22 is consideration of approving the award letter for federal assistance on behalf of Texoma HIDA for grant number G23NT0001A in the amount of $3,540,438.
And this is the award letter for that application for 23. Yes.
Okay.
Need a motion, please.
Make a motion, we approve the award letter for federal assistance on behalf of Texoma HIDA for grant number G23NT0001A in the amount of $3,540,438.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Brewer, seconded by Commissioner Grant. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 23 is consideration of approving an agreement between Navarro County and Will Mechatron Jones doing business as Mechatron Media Group LLC.
Can you explain?
Tiff, or Will, you can explain it to either one of you.
This is just redoing a lot of the audio in the courtrooms. This is the starting point. Pretty much every request for all of Navarro County. If you need any kind of audio or video assistance, then it's called. I'm called on. That court's called multiple times to help out his courtroom as well. I've redone all the audio systems in Judge Putnam's court and alleviated a lot of the excess problematic parts of the older system as well, and utilized as much of it as I possibly could to kind of keep in part with everybody's budget. And I'll also be assisting with the implementation of the new phone system, Mac.
Also understand this also includes moving a server from over across the road over here. Is that part of it?
No.
Oh, okay. I was.
Sonic wall.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm sorry. I was confused. Yes, our firewall, yes.
Okay.
The payments, is this a one time or is this a monthly?
Monthly. I based it off of, I'm on rate 55 an hour. I based it off of 80 hours a month at 50 per hour. And I have been going over that. It doesn't bother me to go over 20, 30 hours here and there.
Okay. Any other questions?
And it is funded.
Yes, you're her.
What's the length of time on it?
Right now, it's to the end of this fiscal year.
Oh, I covered.
Yes.
And this is out, you said this is out of her budget?
Yes. With the new phone system coming in from Bob, we've got to remap everything else and rewire everything. So you've got to have extra help to do that.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Those cameras that are in my office, is there audio with those cameras that are in my office?
We don't know. We don't have control.
I don't have, yeah, that's out of my realm.
There's like Guardian.
Sheriff's Department has control of this.
When they were put in, we were told there's no audio, only video.
I don't know. Depends on the camera.
And we're talking about these cameras.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. Yeah, we did Guardian put those in, company called Guardian.
Yeah, and we had a contract with them for that. And we've got some more door alarms that we're about to get to put on these doors straight out here if you go out of this door. And also on that door, it's over there for typically the sheriff uses most of the time. But we don't have as many issues with people going out of those doors, but now they'll start screaming whenever those alarms go off because they are loud and very annoying. But they've been missed, you know, we haven't had them on it. So we're trying to add security to the building. So what we need to do. Oh, and then another thing I wanted to mention, Sherry, thought about, because we had talked about this doesn't have anything to do with him. Never mind. I'll talk with you a little bit. All right, we need a motion on this, please.
I make a motion of approving the agreement between Navarro County and Will Megatron Jones doing business as Megatron Media Group LLC.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Brewer. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
You can table 24, we didn't get our paperwork in yet.
Oh, okay.
You make a motion?
Yeah, let's do
Make a
it.
motion that we table number 23.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Grant, seconded by Commissioner Perry, the table. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 25 is consideration of approving Xerox leasing agreement for the sheriff's CID office.
This is just for a new printer for CID.
Okay. Need a motion, please.
I'll make a motion that we approve Xerox leasing agreement for the sheriff's CID office.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Grant, seconded by Commissioner Moore. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 26 is consideration of approving to pay bills for Navarro County Sheriff's Office without purchase order on March 13th, 2023. Motion, please.
I move that we approve the pay bills for Navarro County Sheriff's Office without purchase order on March 13th, 2023.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Moore, seconded by Commissioner Grant. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Of course not. Number 27, consideration of approving to pay bills for the jail without purchase order on March 13th of 2023. Same deal, gentlemen.
I make a motion of approving to pay bills for the jail without a purchase order on March 13th, 2023.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Perry, seconded by Commissioner Brewer. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 28, consideration of approving to pay bills for courthouse without a purchase order on March 13th, 2023.
I'll make a motion that we approve the pay bills for courthouse without a purchase order on March 13th, 2023.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Grant, seconded by Commissioner Perry. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 29 is executive session pursuant to the Texas Government Code Section 551.074 to discuss personnel. We need a motion to go into that session, please.
Before I make that motion, I want to acknowledge that we have TAC here today.
Yeah, Ms. Rita.
Is with us. But I'll make a motion that we go into executive session pursuant to the Texas Government Code Section 55 or 551.074 to discuss personnel. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Brewer, seconded by Commissioner Moore. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And we are in that session. Thank y'all for coming.
Yes.
Morning. Morning. Good to see you. Well, I had planned to be here before you started, but I have constructed on Highway 19.